Welcome, guys. We are getting into draft season, believe it or not. So in this episode, I got a good one here. If you're listening in the car, I'm going to be walking you through, or if you're watching here on YouTube, I'm going to walk you through 5 rounds here of a fantasy football mock draft, drafting from the 12th position. Because a lot of people ask me, like, well, what do I do in the 12th position once Najee, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and all these good players are gone? Who do I draft here at the 12th position? So I'm going to walk you guys through 5 rounds. All right, guys, 5 solid rounds on how to draft an optimal roster here in the first 5 rounds from the 12th position. Now, this is a 12-person, 1-point PPR. I'm going to be walking you through all of the potential pitfalls of all these players. So this is a very in-depth episode and a sample size of what I give you guys in 16-round draft solution. Now, 16 rounds, I give you all 16 rounds, all the optimal players drafted in each round, sleepers, breakouts, late round steals, everything you guys need in 16-round draft solution. This is, again, a sample size. You get to see how I think and how I work through a fantasy football mock draft and how a reality draft would essentially work. All right, guys? So very, very important episode. Now, before we get into this, make sure you guys do get the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below. I've also linked a link to our Discord group. You can join, chat. We're going to be doing chats. This is amazing, guys. We're going to be doing chats during games. Breaking news. I released that all inside the app, inside information. So make sure you guys join the Discord. It's free. And join the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below. Use code TUBE20, that's TUBE20, to save yourself 20% on the 16-round draft solution. Sleepers, breakouts, full mock drafts, and everything you guys need. All right, guys? Now, if you are new to the channel, okay, this is very important. If you are new to the channel, I know a lot of people watch this stuff. This is the game-changing podcast, period. I mean, there is no other podcast that offers this type of information that's real and true. My formula works. The advice I offer does work. A lot of people offer BS cookie cutter advice. They'll draft like T. Higgins round 2, which is absolute BS because he's the wide receiver too. They don't aim high on the depth chart. They don't give you advice that actually works. This channel will help you work, so make sure you guys are subscribed and click that thumbs up. It really, really helps the channel, and it means a lot to me. All right, guys? So there's your homework, guys. Get the 16-round draft solution. Use code TUBE20, so I save 20%. All right, guys, smash the thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Say hello. Say what's up. And join that Discord. All right, guys? Now, let's start with this here. Let's dive in here. Now, if you're in the car, what I've got here on the screen is a layout of the first round. We're ready to draft from the 12th position. The first 11 picks have been selected. Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Joe Mixon, Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase are the first 11 picks. Now, looking at this is basically drafted on ADP, consensus, consensus. There is a chance that Travis Kelce here, I see him here on the 10th pick, could actually fall in the second round. Very, very viable and possible there. I used to in Experts League where it's a $2,000 buy-in, and Cooper Kupp came off second overall. So a lot of people drinking the Cooper Kupp Kool-Aid this year. I'm not really sold. Again, I liked him last year in and around the 4th round. I don't like him here in and around the first round top 4 picks. Even at the 8 here, I think, or 7 here, I don't like him. Okay, again, I think a decline is coming. I think they're gonna have a Super Bowl hangover. I think defenses kind of know what to expect with Cooper Kupp. For such a pinnacle, astronomical year, very hard to duplicate that. Now, look at a guy like Dalvin Cook. And I keep talking about it. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of pitfalls. These first rounders, I'm going to rip through the next rounds here into 5 rounds here, all right? Again, let's start off here with Jonathan Taylor. I think a decline is definitely coming. I do like the O-line. I think they're going to throw more with Matt Ryan. Jonathan Taylor is as safe as they come, and I think he could duplicate to have a good year, but not the numbers that he had last year. So factor in at least 50 to 80-point regression here with Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, that high, believe it or not. Christian McCaffrey played 10 games in the past 2 seasons. Hard to trust here. He's come off here in the 2nd pick. Very, very hard to trust. I mean, I don't know. Again, 10 games, 2 seasons, and the guy wasn't even touched when he got hurt last year. It was like a soft tissue injury. I'm a little concerned about Christian McCaffrey and an entirely new offense compared to when he thrived. So a big question mark for me this early. I mean, Christian McCaffrey round 2 maybe, but round 1, 2nd overall, 3rd overall, 4th overall, a little expensive for me. Austin Eckler, again, they brought in Isaiah Spiller. Spiller's going to be a goal line beast. You look at a guy like Austin Eckler, pinnacle year last year, 12 touchdowns on the ground, 8 receiving. He hasn't had 12 touchdowns his entire career on the ground. This was an absolute pinnacle year. I don't trust him. Derrick Henry, love him. I think it's a bounce back season. The guy is going to put up record numbers prior to his injury. Now you could say, well, Joe, that's why he got hurt, because they're using him a lot. I mean, I'm not going to argue the fact that they're going to use my running back a lot. I still like Henry first overall, ideally. Najee Harris, again, I liked him a little bit better last year because the value was there. He gets a downgrade at quarterback, so I'm factoring in a slight regression there in PPR receptions, but I still think he's going to be on the field quite a bit, so he's safe in the first round, just predicated based on volume and opportunity. He's going to be getting it. Again, Dalvin Cook, Russian roulette when it comes to fantasy football. I'd say fantasy football roulette. He's going to miss a segment of at least 3 games minimum. He's been paid. He's been incentivized. There's no reason for Dalvin Cook to destroy himself this year. Again, I'm not really sold. I think it's a pass-first team with Thielen and Jefferson. I won't be drafting Dalvin Cook because I don't like to play fantasy roulette on which games he's going to definitely miss, all right? Again, we talked about Cooper Kupp. Justin Jefferson could be as safe as they come, but I like the Thielen value. I got Thielen in Experts League in the 6th round. I like Thielen a little bit more than Jefferson this year based on value. Joe Mixon could be solid. Again, if you look at his years, I see Joe Mixon here, guys. If you're in the car, he came off here with the 9th pick. Joe Mixon, again, solid as they come, workhorse, awesome offense. I do factor in a slight Super Bowl hangover here for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I also got to factor in the fact that he had a pinnacle year. So a slight regression is due for Mixon, but opportunity, volume, talent, all there for Mixon. Again, Kelsey, he usually slips to the second round a little early here. And then Jamar Chase, again, Kelsey's as safe as they come, by the way. Jamar Chase, I think he has the highest ceiling for a wide receiver. He only had 128 targets compared to a guy like Cooper Kupp who had 191 targets. So I still think there's more ceiling to be had, youth opportunity. Absolutely love Jamar Chase. So now we're left with a pick here. We're 12th. All the players that I like are pretty much gone in the first round. What do we do here? This is a tough situation and something you got to basically figure out for yourself based on gut feeling, based on intuition, based on what you want to do. Now, I don't draft based on ADP, so all of this stuff here means absolutely nothing to me. I see Devontae Adams here, Tyreek Hill as options. I see Mark Andrews, who I think is going to have a good year. Way too early. Quarterback, unless it's a super flex, or a 2-quarterback league, I'm going to be fading quarterback here. I ended up getting Herbert in 2 major money leagues. I got Herbert in the 5th round in those leagues. And I saw Russell Wilson, who I absolutely love this year, could finish top 5. I think he has a great year, come off in the 10th round. So you're going to get a lot of value at quarterback, especially in a 1-quarterback league. So your only positions you want to consider here are wide receiver and running back. Again, I tend to wait on tight end, unless the tight end is worth 1.5, in which I would consider grabbing maybe a Kyle Pitts in round 3, ideally. So I'm looking here at running back. Now, with running back here, you got to take a look at the possible question marks here with all of these running backs, all right? Everyone has got a question mark with them. It depends on which question mark works for you. That's pretty much the only secret here with running back. I don't think there's a wrong answer here with the guys here available. With DeAndre Swift, Leonard Fournette, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb. These are the available running backs. I like to go robust RB. Now, typically, I've been fortunate enough not to draft 12th. This is the problem, right? I was able to secure myself either a Henry or a Najee here in the mid rounds. Now, I actually got Henry in one big high stakes money league in and around round 8th overall. So I was pretty happy with that. I comboed him with Saquon Barkley coming back. So there's a bunch of options here. Now, you could go, again, I don't like Swift. I don't like the offense. The guy Swift peaked at 151 targets last year. I'm not sold on Swift, okay? So I'm fading Swift here. Leonard Fournette could be solid this year. I think the Buccaneers have themselves a good year. I don't know if the volume is going to be there again with Tom Brady at quarterback, but Leonard Fournette is safe. I don't like him in the first round. Aaron Jones could have himself a phenomenal year, especially with Adams gone, 169 freed up targets, which I think will go Christian Watson's way and Robert Tonyan's way for the most part in the passing game, and Lazard will get his share as well. But Aaron Jones, again, with A.J. Dillon stepping up last year, you got to factor in, guys. And a lot of people don't know this with Aaron Jones. Dillon actually was the RB1 last year. He outdid him in attempts. He was the RB1. He got integrated more. Dillon, if Aaron Jones went away, Dillon would be Jonathan Taylor-esque. He'd be that good. He'd be that type of caliber is what we're talking about. Not necessarily as good as Jonathan Taylor, don't get me wrong, but if the volume was there, he'd be a beast. So Jones is a thorn in the side, major committee. Kamara, again, I don't know what's going on. I haven't looked at his suspension. He's kind of, what you see is what you get. You're not going to get a lot of volume on the ground, but you're going to get those receptions. So the best player here I'm looking at here is Saquon Barkley. Again, no committee, improved O-line. You're looking at a contract year. He's got to be paid. He's got to be incentivized. And, if he wants to get that payday, you got to go Saquon. Other options here, you could go, looking at wide receiver here, Diggs is probably your safest wide receiver. Again, I like Josh Allen. I like the team. Diggs is a clear-cut one. He is probably the safest bet here. Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, I don't like for many reasons. Again, I could spend an hour going into all the research I've done on these guys. But when we're talking numbers with Davante Adams, you look at 169 targets last year. He had Aaron Rodgers. He gets a downgrade this year at quarterback. And then you're factoring in basically Waller and Renfrow there on the offense with Derek Carr. And you look at Renfrow, who was the one peaked at 128 targets last year. If Renfrow was the one last year peaking at 128 targets, how is Adams coming in going to peak at 169 targets, duplicate last year's numbers with Renfrow there still being there, right? And not to mention Waller in 2020 peaked at 145 targets. Hear me out, guys. Mathematically, Adams will not get that type of volume that he got with Aaron Rodgers unless Derek Carr force feeds them and forgets Waller and Renfrow are even there, which I don't see because Adams could draw the double coverage and Waller and Renfrow will be safe targets for, Derek Carr to fall back on. So when you look at a guy like Adams, there's no way I'm drafting him in the first round because, again, him and Tyreek Hill are basically copied and pasted last year based on the quarterbacks and the situations they were in. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, Tyreek Hill, you go get a guy like Waddle who's still there, peaked at 141 targets last year. How is Tyreek Hill going to get the 159 targets he had last year with Pat Mahomes gone? There's no Pat Mahomes, guys. It's Tua, who's a suspect quarterback. So both these guys got downgrades at quarterback. Both are in situations where there's other wide receiver targets. So that's why I'm looking to fade them, all right? Now, again, Diggs, I think he's in a similar situation. Again, if he stays healthy, could be a solid pickup here. So I would actually consider Diggs here if you do want to go wide receiver. Evans, again, I think he'll be safe, but Brady spreads the ball around. Keenan Allen could be safe as well, but I don't like him early round one. Deebo Samuel, I see him here as well. But again, with Deebo Samuel, you're looking at a guy who peaked with, he had those rushing touchdowns, decline imminent. A.J. Brown, I don't trust at all, right? So the only options, again, I've given you guys all of the potential pitfalls, and that's why I'm going to go here with Saquon Barkley round one. Again, I saw him come off 10th in an experts or in a $2,000 buy-in money league last year. His ADP is climbing for the reasons I just explained. All right, guys? Now, who is the RB2? If you go RB2 here, you could go Javonte Williams, but understand Melvin Gordon will be a thorn in the side of Javonte Williams. But if you want that guy who's going to get you at least, I'm going to give you guys a stat line for Javonte Williams. I'm going to say Javonte Williams finishes with, and again, I've done this in my head. I've looked at scenarios. I'm looking at least 1,000 yards on the ground rushing. This is kind of his floor. 220 attempts and 6 to 8 touchdowns is what you're looking at with Javonte Williams. So if you're okay with that, get Javonte Williams. So am I okay with that? I got, again, second round here, I have my question marks. Anyone here has a higher ceiling? Maybe Fournette, right? I don't see Swift. Again, I don't see Swift. I think he's too expensive. So I'm just going to go ahead here and just grab myself Diggs because, again, I'm safe at wide receiver. I'm going to see if I can get myself David Montgomery coming back. This is going to be an interesting test here on this ADP draft. If Montgomery will come back at the 312, so once it swings back. If not, Montgomery is a viable second-round pick if you want that workhorse running back. I think he's going to get the workload. I think the offense is catered to him thriving this year. I actually like David Montgomery a lot more than DeAndre Swift and Aaron Jones and Alvin Kamara this year. So, I'd be okay here probably going David Montgomery here at the 2. Let's do that. Let's go Diggs here. Let's go Diggs here at the 2 and see what happens. Again, Diggs is a true wide receiver one. I think Gabriel Davis will get some work, but either way, I think we'll be good. So first round recap here. If you're listening in the car, Taylor, McCaffrey, Eckler. I think Eckler, again, too expensive. Coming off a pinnacle here. Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Joe Mixon, Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley. And again, I don't mind Jamar Chase here at the end and going Jamar Chase and Saquon here on the turn, all right? Now, round 2, Stephon Diggs, there's DeAndre Swift. Adams, I've told you his pitfalls. Aaron Jones, I told you his pitfalls with Dylan. Nick Chubb was going to be in a committee with Kareem Hunt. I don't trust him. He busted last year. If you guys remember, everybody told you Nick Chubb last year. Everyone told you Dalvin Cook last year, round 1. They busted significantly. Dalvin Cook finished 16th amongst running backs on the consensus or overall rankings, but he was on the consensus rankings, the top 3 running back, right? He busted significantly. Aaron Jones busted significantly. Cooper Kupp last year, if you guys remember, how good is your memories? Do you have a memory of a goldfish? Everybody and their mother was telling you Robert Woods last year ahead of Cooper Kupp. And I was like, hey guys, no, Cooper Kupp, draft him 3rd, 4th round. And he was in my 16-round draft solution, and I omitted Robert Woods. I didn't even recommend Robert Woods. And I also didn't recommend Brandon Ayuk, who I didn't believe in. Deebo Samuel was on my podcast, and Deebo Samuel was ranked behind Brandon Ayuk. And I like the value of Deebo Samuel in the 7th round last year. I like the value of Cooper Kupp in the 4th round last year. And they were on my teams, and I crushed it last year. And that's what you get with 16 rounds. You're going to get the value. You're going to get your Drake Londons in the right round. Guys that could break up your Christian Watsons, your Alec Pierces, right? You're going to know when to get them, and that's what I offer in 16 rounds. Whereas, all these other guys are telling you just draft on ADP. Draft on ADP. They have Higgins and Jamar Chase in the top 10. Ludicrous. All right, guys? Keep going on here with the second round here. Again, we went Diggs, Swift, Adams, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel. CeeDee Lamb, I actually like. I think his ceiling's high here with Amari Cooper being gone. Second round, I think, is a fair value if he syncs with Prescott and they get going here. Leonard Fournette, I think it's okay here. There goes Javonte Williams here, coming off, late round 2. Mark Andrews, Tyreek Hill, Alvin Kamara. Round 3, A.J. Brown. I think round 3 is fair, but I think, Devontae Smith is there. I think there'll be an issue there with A.J. Brown getting the volume that you guys anticipate and want. I don't see him as a true wide receiver 1 in reality or in fantasy for that matter. I love Breece Hall here as a round 3 value. Reason being, the offensive coordinator, the team, the coaching have said Breece Hall is going to get that workload. They wouldn't have moved up to grab him in the second round. Breece Hall is going to eat this year. Improved O-line, make or break year for Zach Wilson, ultra elite talent, and the best running back out of this class here in 2022. Breece Hall is going to eat. Do I trust him as an RB1? No. Do I trust him as an RB2? No. Do I trust him as an RB3 as part of a robust RB strategy? Absolutely. Breece Hall could go off and finish top 10. That's the type of ceiling we're talking here. Again, Jets don't trust the offense. Now, if you guys remember this, here's an interesting, do you remember, because I keep receipts, I was warning you guys that Le'Veon Bell sucks. And when he moved on to the Jets, everybody and their mother, the consensus, I actually have magazines of him on the cover, and people were like, draft Le'Veon Bell round 1. He was coming off at the end of round 1. And I said, the Jets suck, okay, and Le'Veon Bell sucks. Le'Veon Bell was a product of the offense, right? So theoretically, we are in a way better situation here with Breece Hall. So I would rather have Breece Hall round 1 than I would have Le'Veon Bell round 1. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is, Le'Veon Bell sucked. I knew that. The mainstream didn't. Breece Hall is a lot better talent, younger, hungrier, in a better situation with the Jets. So a round 3 is a steal compared to what they told you with round 1 Le'Veon Bell a couple years ago. I remember everything, guys. I keep receipts. Mike Evans here, I think it's a fair value in the 3rd round. I think he'll be safe. He'll be finishing top 12 if Brady keeps going, keeps feeding him, right? Keenan Allen could be safe if staying healthy. Love him in the 3rd round. Good value. T. Higgins, why would I be drafting a wide receiver 2 here in the 3rd round? I wouldn't do it. It's just crazy. I don't care what numbers he put up last year. I don't settle for a wide receiver 2 in round 3. Deontay Johnson, I was so high on him last year. Loved him. Loved the value. Loved Big Ben throwing to him. I don't trust Mitch Trubisky. I think the volume would be there. Now, there is some contract issues going on here with Deontay Johnson. From what I heard in reports, they're saying that Deontay Johnson will not be paid what he wants. Like, he will not be paid the high salary that everybody else is getting. That might be a problem for Deontay. Could he be bitter? Could he be disgruntled? Could he be, could he end up somewhere else? I don't know. Could he hold out? I don't know. But again, the contract issue is a bit of an issue. Mitch Trubisky's a bit of an issue. A bit of a turn off for me. James Conner, I don't trust. This guy's drafting James Conner here as his, RB1. This guy came off an astronomical pinnacle, 15 rushing touchdown season. Don't see that happening again. The guy has struggled with injuries throughout his career. I don't trust James Conner at all, especially as my RB1 here, right? Josh Allen, a little early here to go quarterback. I like Josh Allen in the 10th round a couple of years ago when everybody was drafting Baker Mayfield ahead of him. Josh Allen, 3rd round, a little expensive for me. Zeke Elliott, love the value here in the 3rd round. This person went robust RB, mixing Aaron Jones, Zeke Elliott. Not a bad combination here other than Aaron Jones, who I don't really trust. Other than, like I said, the influx, that he could get, the increase in receptions there with Adams gone. But again, Zeke Elliott, a lot of people ask me about Zeke Elliott. Listen, I think he had a decent year last year, finished 7th amongst running backs. Not bad for a guy who had a partially torn PCL. I'm looking at 240 attempts, 10 touchdowns, and 1,200 yards on the ground for Zeke Elliott. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Zeke Elliott, who I think will have a better year than he did last year. You know, Pollard's going to be a factor, but not as big of a factor as you think because they want to win. They're going to run their best running back and the team leader, that is Zeke Elliott. Love his third-round value this year. Michael Pittman, I think he'll be solid. I like Alec Pierce's value later. We know Paris Campbell can't get it done, can't stay on the field. Pittman's going to eat this year. Love Matt Ryan. Great O-line. Time to throw. Pittman is going to eat. My question is, similarly to the situation with Allen Lazard, are these guys true wide receiver ones, or will Alec Pierce and Christian Watson take over? I'm kind of getting the bargain with Christian Watson and Alec Pierce. Now, something I want to make you guys aware of, okay? This is something to think about here, okay? Very, very important. A lot of people are drafting Waddle, which has he come off? He's coming off very soon, coming off the third round. I see him coming off in the third round, typically early fourth. A lot of people are drafting Waddle, okay? A lot of people are drafting T. Higgins as wide receiver twos, but everybody's fading Alec Pierce and Christian Watson. You can get those guys after the 10th round, and they've got better quarterbacks thrown to them. And yes, I said it. Yes, Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan are better than Tua and Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow's solid, no doubt about it, but he's no Aaron Rodgers. So I'm getting Aaron Rodgers wide receiver 1, possibly wide receiver 2, and Christian Watson late over getting a T. Higgins in round 3 with a Joe Burrow or a Waddle in round 3 with Tua. Does that make sense, guys? Again, what I do is I draft on my research, my common sense, logic, depth charts, opportunity, talent. I don't just draft based on ADP. And again, if you were drafting based on ADP last year, how would you have done? Very crappy, because you would have had Dalvin Cook round 1. You would have came back, probably got Nick Chubb. They both busted. And you would have had Ayuk and Robert Woods as your receivers. And you know what's funny is that when you do drafts and you draft bums like that based on ADP, you get an A. If you had drafted Ayuk and Robert Woods last year in rounds, let's say 3, 4, 5, whatever they were coming off. I think Woods is coming off round 3 or whatever, 2, round 3. You would have had A+ on your grade according to these Consheeps' sites, right? So again, guys, if this is resonating you, if it's making sense, drop that thumbs up in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And of course, get that 16-round draft social, because again, I do the research. I live and breathe this, guys. I know what I'm talking about. You want to aim high in that depth chart. You want to avoid the consensus, the Consheeps, all right? All right, so let's finish off round 3 here. We'll rip off the last 2 rounds here. We're going to do round 4 and 5. Cam Akers is totally boomer bust. I'm leading a little more towards bust. I like the ceiling, but again, hard to trust. He's coming off here at the 311. So we're up at the 312. What do we do here? Definitely not drafting Waddle after everything we talked about. Definitely not drafting DJ Moore. He's next on the consensus. Definitely not drafting Brandon Cooks. Don't trust him. Definitely not drafting Terry McLaurin. Even though he got paid and incentivized, I don't trust him. Now, Cortland Sutton's an option here. I think that's relatively early. I'm going to take a quick glance at running back. I see David Montgomery here. I'm getting an RB1. That's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to go ahead and draft David Montgomery. It's coming back to me. And again, I really don't like drafting for this 12th position here because, again, a lot of the guys I like are typically gone. I don't want to reach on A.J. Dillon here. I see Antonio Gibson. I don't trust. He is one fumble away from losing his job. They drafted a guy, I think, in the 3rd round, Robinson. I think Brian Robinson. Go look him up. He is going to potentially be a workhorse there with Gibson, and they've got McKissick. I don't trust it. ATN has that type of ceiling, but I think when Robinson comes back, he's going to be the guy on the ground. It's going to be a committee. Jacobs is hard to trust. I'm not really a Jacobs guy. In the 4th round, it sounds like value is an RB3. Definitely a consideration here. I'm going to take a quick glance at, again, wide receiver. There isn't a wide receiver I like here. Sutton could be an option, but I kind of like Judy later. But there is, I want to tell you guys something here. So much depth at wide receiver here, and I've already got a wide receiver in Diggs. I mean, from Mooney, who's a wide receiver 1, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Adam Thielen, Drake London, who I love. Again, there's so many wide receivers I love here that, again, I literally am not personally going wide receiver here because, again, there's so much depth. So the big question is running back. Again, the guys I like, Breece Hall is gone. Zeke Elliott's gone. I got my Montgomery. So it's a very tough decision here on who to get. If you want to be wild, and I can afford to be wild here. I'm gonna pull something here that you guys are gonna be like, wow, I can't believe he pulled this here. Okay, see all these consensus running backs here. I'm looking at a guy here like Kenneth Walker. All right, let's talk about Kenneth Walker here. This guy could absolutely be a workhorse. I believe, when was he drafted? I think it was 2nd round. Was it 2nd round? I think it was 2nd round he was drafted. second, third round. He was drafted in the second round. Kenneth Walker, guys. All right. We're talking about a guy who could be a workhorse. Now, you're saying, well, Joe, this is an extensive reach. It is a reach. It is a very big reach. But what other running back would you trust here? Let's take a look here. Antonio Gibson, no. Travis Etienne, no. Josh Jacobs, meh, maybe, right? Dobbins, I don't trust because Lamar Jackson is going to get the workload. Elijah Mitchell could have a safe year. A.J. Dillon, I like. If Aaron Jones gets hurt, A.J. Dillon absolutely goes off. That's a big question mark because Aaron Jones is there. Miles Sanders, I don't trust. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, hell no. Kareem Hunt's got Chubb. Damian Harris, Chase Edmonds, Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, Melvin Gordon. Then you got Kenneth Walker here based on ADP. Let's talk about Kenneth Walker again. High draft capital in him. The Seattle Seahawks invested, right? They invested high draft capital in Kenneth Walker. And Chris Carson is probably not coming back. As soon as the news hits that Chris Carson is going to retire because he's got a plate in his neck, you're going to see Kenneth Walker skyrocket up to the depth chart. Penny, you're saying, oh, well, there's Rashad Penny there. Well, let's talk about Penny. What has he done? Absolutely nothing in the past couple of years. He had a couple good games near the stretch, but go look at who he was playing. I looked at it. He was playing Houston. He was playing Detroit. He was playing Chicago. He wasn't playing teams that were amazing. He had one game near the end of the stretch where he played the Rams. I think he averaged 2.9 yards per carry. If the Seahawks believed in Penny, they wouldn't have drafted Kenneth Walker so early. So I know, for me, you guys may not want to do this, but with confidence, I'm going to go Kenneth Walker here as my RB3 in the 4th round. Let's go. You guys are like, oh my God, this guy's nuts. He could have fallen. He could have fallen. Yes, he could have fallen. But let other people take players I don't like. Now, what are we going to do here in the 5th pick? Another guy could have easily gone as Justin Herbert here. I like anchoring my team with an ace quarterback. I should have went Herbert here on the 4th as well because I know Kenneth Walker could have fallen here. I'm just having some fun here. But listen, I'm telling you, Kenneth Walker as an RB3 or 4, a guy that could take that backfield, improved O-line. I don't know if Drew Lock's going to start. This was a total reach, guys. I'm having fun here. This was a total reach. I want to let you guys know. In the comments, let me know. Am I crazy? But the point I'm trying to exaggerate here is that this guy could be the RB1. Could I be wrong? Yes. But I think if Chris Carson doesn't play, and there's a good chance he doesn't, they're already hinting that he's not going to play. If Chris Carson plays, man, that's really ballsy. And I feel bad for him because one injury away from catastrophic failure, right? Like once you get a plate in your neck, it's pretty rough, okay? Based on the other running backs here, I don't like Gibson in the 4th round. So I would say Gibson's nuts. You could say that Walker's a reach. I'm going to say that Gibson's a waste. I'm going to say that Waddle's a waste. I'm going to say Darren Waller with Adams is a waste. I'm going to say that I don't trust a bunch of people. I don't trust Cooks, right? I'd rather have Kenneth Walker than Cooks. There's a ton of wide receivers later I can get. I'm going to say Michael Thomas is in a committee with Landry and Chris Olave. Olave is a good wide receiver. I don't even trust Winston throwing the ball or whoever's throwing the ball there at the Saints, all right? So, again, I like Mooney here, and we're going in the 5th round. I like Mooney. I like Sutton here. But I think, PPR-wise, I think Judy could be the one. Godwin's not bad value. Terry McLaurin could be solid here. Dillon's not bad value. Jacobs here. Amari Cooper, solid value round 5. Elijah Mitchell. I like Herbert here in round 5. Love the value. So I'm going to finish this off here. I'm going to take a look at the best wide receiver here, and I'm going to consider Judy here. I also like Thielen here coming back. I go Judy and Thielen back-to-back, and I've got my 3 wide receivers, all right? So I'm going to go Judy. And again, I like Thielen here. Again, Bateman, I don't trust. Amon-Ra could be solid, right? Marquise Brown, I don't trust. Mike Williams is a wide receiver, too. I'm going to get myself a potential wide receiver 1 in Thielen, and that's to round out round. I gave you 6 rounds here. So, again, I talk about the sneaky 7. I talk about aiming high on the depth chart. I talk about optimal players draft. I look at scenarios. I don't draft on ADP, guys. And again, if you draft on ADP, you would have had Ayuk last year over Debo. You would have had Robert Woods over Cooper Kupp, right? You would have slept on Najee Harris. You would have drafted Nick Chubb over Najee Harris. You would have drafted Christian McCaffrey over Najee Harris. I drafted Najee Harris over Christian McCaffrey last year. I did really well, guys. So it's about seeing things before they happen, projecting things, all right, guys? Round 5 recap here. Darnell Mooney, Cortland Sutton, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Terry McLaurin, A.J. Dillon, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, Amari Cooper, Elijah Mitchell, Justin Herbert, and Jerry Jeudy. And then I'm going to look at another wide receiver here. I'm going to take a quick glance here at running back, quarterback here. I want to wait here because I like Russell Wilson. There's a bunch of other quarterbacks here. So there's 5 rounds for you guys, a ton of value. If you want to go through all of the rounds, when to get a defense, when to get a kicker, which are the sleepers, which other wide receiver sleepers do I get, which rookies do I draft, how do I draft from the 6th position? How do I draft from the 1st position? How do I get everything I need to crush my league? Get the 60-round draft solution. I know this is making sense to you guys. You guys stayed this far. Get 60 rounds. Use code TUBE20. I don't draft on consensus. I don't draft on consensus. I'm seeing a lot of potential pitfalls here. I've explained a lot of them here, and you guys are now aware of the first 5 rounds. Pretty wild, eh? What a ride. Subscribe, guys. Thumbs up. Drop a comment. What do you guys think? Let me know. Was Kenneth Walker crazy? Do you see him being the RB1? Love to get your feedback. And, yeah, it was a bit of a reach. I get it, but he's my RB3, guys. Relax. And I know how to draft the rest of the roster where I'm secure if Kenneth Walker did end up busting. I do like him more than guys like Gibson, other guys coming off before him as well on the ADP. Like, if you look here, I like him better than Miles Sanders. He's still sitting here, right? Like, again, Edlaire, Kareem Hunt, all these guys could have came off ahead of him. Again, I don't like these guys. I like Kenneth Walker here. Walker more upside than those guys. All right, guys, subscribe, thumbs up. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll talk soon. Fantasy's almost here. I'm out.